Hello, my name is Amy Douglas and this story is from the Welsh Marches from both Wales and Shropshire, and I live right in the middle of the two, right on the border. And it's called Lord Plynlimon and his daughters. Lord Plynlimon, right at the beginning of things, long ago, he stood and he looked out at his domain. And as far as the eye could see, he was king and caretaker over all. But he was getting old. He felt the damp and the cold in his bones. And so he called his children to him, his 3 daughters, and he said, "My girls, you are no longer children, you are young women, and it is time for you to take your place in the world. And so tomorrow, I give you from sunrise until sunset, and all the land that you cover in that time will be yours to be queen over ever after. But you must put your feet into salt water by sunset, or you will be queen over nothing." Well, the girls turned to each other, their eyes sparkling, excited, and they were already beginning to plot and plan what they would do the next day. 7, the eldest, serious and thoughtful, she went to bed early that night, and she rose while the stars still dotted the sky, and she sat with her back to the west, her back to the sea, and she looked east, and she waited as the sky lightened. And as soon as the sun crested the horizon, she was off in a long-legged lope that she hoped she could keep up all day, and she was planning to do a great loop to cover as much ground as possible before the sun set. Behind her, she left a swallow to watch her sisters and let her know what was happening. Why was the middle daughter? She just went to bed at her usual time, and she got up at her usual time, and she smiled when she remembered what the day was bringing. She knew exactly where she was going to go. If this was the land that she was going to rule over forevermore, she wanted it to be her favourite places. Lush valleys, fields full of wildflowers, and so she set off to the south, picking and choosing her way through all the most beautiful places. That swallow, waiting, watched Y set off, flew up into the sky, over towards 7 to land on her shoulder and tell her that Y had left. 7 looked at the sun, and she changed her course and began to round her way slowly round towards the sea. Rheidol, the youngest, well, she went to bed early like her sister 7, and she had great plans, but those plans filled her head, and she tossed and turned, thinking first this way and then that way. She couldn't sleep until by the time her breath finally slowed and she slept. 7 was already rising. Rheidol slept. Y rose and left. Rheidol slept. Rheidol slept until at last the sun was right overhead, and it was the noonday sun beaming down that woke her up. She realised that half the day was gone. She leapt to her feet, her plans in tatters. All she could do was race westwards, race towards the sea and hope that she would get there in time. She leapt from boulder to boulder, clambered and scrambled down the mountainsides. Lord Plynlimon watched. He watched his 3 girls as they went in separate directions. He watched as 7 rounded round her journey, and she came together with Y, and they held hands for the last part of their journey. He watched as Rheidol made her mad dash scramble to the sea, running onto the shore just as the sun melted into the water. He watched as all 3 of them splashed into salt water just as the sun set. And then at last he stretched. He relaxed his tired bones, and he settled down into the form of a mountain. And those 3 daughters, those 3 young women, he turned to rivers, 7, Y, and Rheidol. And so they remain to this day, their father Plynlimon nurturing and nourishing them as they go on their journeys. And each day they re-step those journeys that they took so long ago on a summer's day, caring and looking after the lands that they travel until at last they reach the sea.